get together again after the break. Took 4 days, 3.5 days off without any practice, and I think it was much needed. It seemed like we had some pretty fresh legs the last couple days in practice, and a little rejuvenation for everybody. And you know, it's important to get back on the court, I think, and keep polishing the things that we've been talking about, improving our defense and getting guys making shots and playing more efficiently without turning the basketball over. You know, the same storyline really, to try to win games that we've had all along, and then turn around Wednesday and head to the Bay Area to kick off our conference play.
Larry, opening up conference play with 3 straight road games, maybe not ideal, but it is what it is. Can you just talk about the challenges? And I guess you played 5 of your first 7 on the road as well. So about the challenges of that schedule for conference play.
Well, I think it is somewhat random. You know, the way the new year fell this year put everybody in a situation where we had to play maybe not the prime time when you've got New Year's, and but we needed that week to fit the games. And a year ago we opened up with 3 at home, and you know, that can be just as challenging too. I think it's important that you deal with whatever it is that's in front of you, and you know, they're all challenging. They're going to work out. At the end of the day, you're going to have an equal number at home and on the road. And you know, I look at it as a situation really, when you look from a fan base, and I love the support that we get specifically from our student section, and a year ago we had 1/3 of our league games without our students here. So, you know, I think I made that comment, it would be nice to maybe open on the road, and with the way it works out this year, we're on the road when our students are still out, and so it'll give us an opportunity with our 9 league home games to not have any excuses as far as, you know, maybe some of our students still being on their winter break. So, you know, you just talked about the weather. It's a nice little refresher to get out of here maybe for four nights and head to an area to get away from some of the cold too. So I'm never going to look at some of the negatives and probably try to take the positives. And we have had some road games when you look at, you know, Wichita, and you look at the Duke game, and so there's a reason that we played some of those games, so that this is not an out-of-body experience when we head into Stanford and into Cal and into Colorado. Hopefully we've you know, been a little bit better because of those experiences, so we're just going to try to make the most of it.
All right, and another question, just how have you seen through non-conference play, how's the Pac-12 shaping up in your opinion?
Well, I haven't looked at a whole lot of it. I've watched Cal and Stanford here the last few days, but you know, I feel like we've done pretty well from a 1-loss record, and I think we're 5th or 6th in the conference. So I think that's an indication that they're some pretty darn good teams. You know, that are taking care of business and winning a number of games. It's a pretty wide open race. I don't see a team. You know, sometimes with the league, maybe the bottom portion of the league would be games that you would almost pencil in as W's, and that's not the case with the league this year. I mean, there's really no, you know, top to bottom. And I was talking with some of the basketball guys on the East Coast when we were out at Madison Square Garden, and they felt like top to bottom it was going to be as solid a league as there is in the country. So ultra competitive. Well, I mean, we touched on it. Our defensive statistics aren't where they need to be. You know, I've been taking a look since the last 3 games, but prior to our last 3 games, we were last in the conference in field goal percentage defense, and that's not going to help us accomplish many of our goals. You know, defending the 3 has been an Achilles heel. I think turning the basketball over has been problematic. And then for us, as with any team, I think you need to have multiple guys step up and play well. Don't expect other people to do it. And if we can get, you know, 3, 4, 5 guys that are having good performances simultaneously, then it's going to bode well for us. And I think in the games that we were exposed, the Miami game and the Wichita game, we had a number of no-shows in those games, and you know, the turnovers was an Achilles heel and inability to defend. So that's what you do, is you try to learn from your experiences. You lose a game, it's not the end of the world, it's a learning opportunity, and and the way that we lost those 2 games has been a focal point for us. And it's important that we kind of check out the landscape too and see what lies ahead. Not every team is the same in their style and the way that they play, and you have to make sure that you're not surprised by something. So that's probably the biggest thing right now as we look at our conference opponents moving forward, that we can maybe be ahead of the curve a little bit, try to take a good guess at what it is they're going to do, what they're going to try to expose, and maybe we can be out ahead of that and not let it nip us in the bud.
Where's Jayce Johnson at in his development and ability to compete at the collegiate level, and is there any chance we might see him on the floor tonight?
Well, I mean, Jayce is, I think we just had his 3rd practice, and, there's an awful lot being thrown at him. It's not easy, We've got a lot of terminology, a lot of things that we've been working on through the summer and starting in September practices. So it's pretty unfair to expect him to come in and, number one, it's hard for any freshman when they get a normal timeline to try to pull it off. But, here he is trying to move into a dorm over the Christmas break where nobody's around, and maybe not a normal practice schedule. We've been over here a few times and put him through some workouts and trying to get him up to speed with a lot of the X's and O's. And so it's like most kids. You spend so much time thinking and worrying about being in the right spot that you can't even probably be productive. You're kind of spinning around and a little bit of a deer in the headlights. But what he's brought to our practices the last few days is a level of physicality that we haven't had. He's there's a few sparks flying off of he and Jakob and Jordan and, Chris Reyes. It's kind of fun. It's taken the level of play to a different level, and it's going to give Jayce an opportunity to get ahead of the curve, and not be a normal freshman when he comes in. I think he also is making us a better team right now. But I don't see putting Jayce in a game at this point, and I haven't had an opportunity to sit down and visit with him or his family. It's like a lot of things, you want it to be a win-win, and right now it would be completely unfair to throw him into the mix. Basically would burn a year. It's like having a kid that redshirts and then at Christmas you decide you want to use him. And I can tell you that from this point until postseason is over, goes fast. We're looking at 3 months roughly, and so if you want to put him at risk and put him in a game and burn that year of eligibility for something that is a little bit hard to grasp right now, it's probably not the right thing to do. Talk to him about what our plan is, at any point, and knock on wood, but you could have 2 injuries to some big guys and you could need him. So, and then it's not relevant at that point. You could say redshirt, but you don't redshirt him. So right now, I think the thing that we all need to focus on is that he's enjoying college. He's enjoying the practice competition. Our guys are welcoming him with open arms. It's been a lot of fun, and we're just getting the ball rolling, and I don't think it's fair to be talking about using him, not using him. We just need to soak up the fact that he's a Ute, and that's the most important thing right now.